All right, welcome to Yeshua's King Ministries. This is James, and I've been doing a series, a 1-2 series. This will be the third one, probably the last one, and then I'm going to move on to some sermons and things that I would love to talk about, especially current Israel and what I think is going on over there. I don't want to be talking like that, and with the temple, Reign of the Heavens Society temple, because I don't want any heat coming down on anyone if any heat's to come, because I'm not agreeing with what's going on over there. That is not cool. So, I ended last time with Yeshua buying me. Okay. That was and how I felt about that. Now, what we're talking about here is purchase of sin. Everyone was headed to hell, and I mean everyone. And I want to bring this into another part of this, okay? Especially with what everybody's doing now. Anybody who has been given the set apart spirit, anyone knows that if you ignore Yeshua or worship any other gods or do anything like this, you go to hell. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows it. We're talking a couple billion people, if not more. They all understand the exact same thing. Now try to explain that. Let's go into science or something of that nature and try to explain how everyone knows and has been involved in one communication. That communication is the same throughout the whole people. They get pulled into Christianity, which is not necessarily has anything to do with Yeshua. It has to do with the Council of Nicaea and the jackwit over there calling himself Francis, trying to open portals to allow a demon through. He's getting ready to do some more of those. And obviously, everyone should object to that. I object to it. Those demons are very dangerous, extremely dangerous, and extremely to the core wicked. Their only job is to get you into hell. That's it. Either way they can do it is going to be two different ways. Either you're going to sleep with a lot of girls or a lot of guys. There's going to be sex in your life everywhere. That's one way. And they're going to try to get you to blaspheme the set apart spirit, Yeshua, and the Father. Those two things. Any conversation you ever have with them, if you ever had one, is always required or means that you're going to be going to hell. It will end there. You could be talking about, oh man, look at that gum on the floor. If a demon was sitting there whispering in your ear, he can take gum on the floor, okay, and turn that into you're going to hell within 5 minutes. That's what they do. They can take any man or woman, mainly men, because men are more romantic than women are. They have a dream state that they like to live in because of the responsibilities they have, and they don't like to live in those responsibilities. So they have a dream state that will give them what do you call it, fantasies and things like that. So they may see a woman here, a woman there. It doesn't really matter who they are. It could be any woman, and he may uh, try to figure out if he could have a family with her, or he would start thinking about having sex with her, or whatever it is. It will always end up you committing adultery, or which means you have multiple partners, which leads it back to what Yeshua said. It's better to be with one woman and not think of others, because if you think it, you've said it or you've done it. There would be one woman, and if you've thought of being with another, you're now with multiple women, and guess where that makes you go to? You end up going to Hades. Hades back then was called hell today. The big fiery place, the place that nobody wants to be, or the jackasses believed the story that hell was where the party is. Man, do you have some surprises coming to you? I've been there, I've seen it. You don't want to be there. And once you're there, you can't get out. There's only one man that could possibly get you out if he witnessed for you. But once the judgment's set, it's over. You'll never get out. Not 10,000 years from now, not a million years from now, not 90 million years from now. You will still be there. That's it. You can't get out. There's no reprieve. There's no appeal. There's no trial that's going to get you out of there. That's it. Now imagine, okay, putting a lighter to your hand and feeling that, and then feeling that. Imagine eternity for you. Eternity. The only chance you have of staying away from there is Yeshua. His blood, the blood of the Lamb. Very first thing when I fulfilled the command, seek the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. Find him. And I did. I was able to find him because I was looking for so long. And I was able to find him. He said, the blood of the Lamb is what binds us together. One of the first things he said to me. And it binds us in one of the first thing he said, you're not going anywhere. That was it. You're not going anywhere. Just grabbed onto me. That was after the greeting. So that's where that was a time that things like that you never forget ever, because when you're able to fulfill that, that would be what you call a sense of accomplishment in this lifetime. So you have to feel, or you have to know, okay, that you achieved something. I'll never forget it. It has benefited the situation immensely, because when you're at peace with your Father in heaven, everything seems to change. It all does change. It becomes more difficult in some ways, but less difficult in others. Meaning, they're constantly trying to strengthen you over and over. So it's a love, but it's hard. It's difficult. It's like going into advanced military training. The advanced military training for to an officer is a whole lot worse than it is when you're in basic training. A lot of guys lose their head just to get that bar on their shoulder. So since that time, I've been learning more and more about how he feels and how he does things. How he his what did you say? I don't know how to explain that. It would be the way he works. They say he works in mysterious ways, and I'll tell you that right now. The second that you think that you're going in a bad direction, just wait a few minutes and wait to see if that bad direction turns everything around. Turns around almost instantly and overnight to better benefit you. It looks like something evil is happening to you, but it isn't. That's actually Yeshua doing what he does. It's called taking care of sheep. He's taking care of you. I'll have to tell you the story about what he showed me. This was afterwards. Yeshua, uh, he comes up and he says, "Do you want to see what it was like after I died?" And I said, "Yeah, I would love to see that." So he takes me back to where he was. Uh, he um he gave up his spirit to the Father. He takes me back right to that time point, and then he puts me in his head. I don't know how to explain this. And right after that, I think I explained a little bit before, but or mentioned it, but I didn't go into detail. I was all of a sudden I was in a tunnel, and the tunnel was made of rock, and he was walking. Um, and then he comes in while I'm there, and he says, "Okay, about this point," he says, "the one thing that I noticed is everything had changed when I died. Everything had changed." He said, "Even my father looked different to me. Even he was changed to a certain extent, back to his original, this." In other words, what I'm saying is this. I'm going to explain this right. Um, try to explain this right. Um, he he said that the father was no longer like stressed or angry. His anger had gone. His anger had subsided, and he said he couldn't remember a time when that was. When it was, he was just a part of him was angry. He's not just like walking around mad all day, because of what the devil did and everybody else. It was, it was he was just no longer angry. It was all done. Everything had changed. So he's saying, he says, even like earth earth changed. So essentially when he died, he walked into a brand new world, which is what I was like, that's interesting. What was it like? Okay, you have these people back then, about 2,000 years ago, or more, a little bit more, and they're all there. And what is it that happened that made them believe that he was the son of the Father after he died? You ever wonder that? Like, where'd the books go? Are there books there? I know that some people had were resurrected. I know that part. The dead had risen. So the streets are filled with people that had come out of graves. That's a good indicator that was the son of the Father, that he was who he said he was. Okay, that's a good hint for those who are just dense and can't figure out that that was him. Okay, so you've got um the son of the Father is walking around in a brand new world, and he's smiling. And what that defines to today is embrace the new. That's a message for everyone. Embrace the new. Embrace the fact that it's over. Quit worrying about what the devil's going to do. Stop listening to him. Everything that comes out of that thing's mouth is a lie. It's a complete lie. Embrace the new. Look towards the new. They always call it look towards the good news, and I know it's they've turned it into a cliche, especially the churches today. They've turned that into, hey, would you like to hear the good news? Okay. And then, especially when people come to your door, they knock on your door and they've got all this stuff and books and things like that in their shirt, in their hands. Would you like to hear the good news? I already heard it. I got a lot to share with you. You want to talk? Oh, well, no thanks. That's usually how it works. That's how that conversation goes. I remember doing that to some Jehovah's Witness when they stopped by. So that was the message he was trying to tell me. He wasn't all that was Abraham's belongs to him. So when he went and got them, Adam and Eve, everything belongs to him now, Yeshua. So in order to get your salvation, you have to go to one man. This is the reason why. It has nothing to do with ego. It has nothing to do with who he is. Okay? It is just a matter of fact. So when you have states of the United States creating statutes under um, Columbia, which is a goddess, and you follow those and you enforce those upon others that are not a part of that, you're doing the devil's work. You are a devil worshiper. You can go to church every day of the week. You can go there and show everybody how righteous you are. But you're going to end up in a whorehouse by the end of the week. So go say, "Oh, I'm sorry I did this, Yeshua." You call him Jesus. So that's not his real name, but that is what it is. That's what you say. And you go to church on Sunday to make sure everybody knows that you're a good Christian. It's not that you're trying to have a relationship with him. It's not like you're trying to get to know him. It's self-serving. You're trying to guarantee your way into heaven by using a brick building here on earth. And you feel that if there's everybody is embracing you, that you are going to go to heaven. You feel pretty good after that Sunday. Well, we really like Johnny there. Johnny's a good man. Oh, we look at you. You're a good man. You do good and righteous things. So you're thinking, oh, good. The preacher likes me. So I must be going to heaven. That means God's going to like me. But guess what you're doing? What you're serving every single day is a false goddess. You're woman worshiping. So you're worshiping the creation, not the creator. It's as simple as that. And that is not a forgivable sin. He doesn't go for that. Because why? You were supposed to embrace Yeshua and get to know his son. That, by the way, suffered for you immensely. I remember watching a show about creator of Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson, and they said, "Oh, it was horrible how you guys portrayed what happened to him." He goes, "That's not even close to what happened to him." And the interviewer says, "What?" He says, "Much worse things actually happened that we didn't show, according to my research." So you had a man there that loves you enough to go through that, to change everything, to serve his father, to serve him, because you can't go directly to the Father anymore. That's it. It's over. Embrace the new. You embrace Yeshua. Get to know him. Get to understand how his Father feels about him. And this is a part of my testimony. This is a part of what I've been going through for the past 5, 6, 7 years. Is understanding their relationship, understanding who they are, how they feel. Because nobody listens to them. You read the book. Oh, okay, this is awesome. I read the book. I've memorized the book. I remember one guy, I was just sitting there listening to it this week. Well, I have embraced and absorbed every scripture in the Bible. Awesome. Great. You don't know Yeshua. Sorry. Guess what he's going to do? If it's anything like the past, he's going to say, "I'm sorry. I do not know you." And guess what happens? If he doesn't know you, you have no appeal. It's over. The judgment's been set. Hell you go, and hell you will stay. Now, Why is it that you feel that way? It's because demons have been trying to get you or been lying to you since you were born. Their job is to get you back or get you in hell. That's what they do. That commission has been given to them by their thing that seems to believe he's in charge down there, but in essence, he's not. Yeshua holds the keys. He does what Yeshua tells him. Now, what is the whole issue? The whole issue is to test you. That's what the issue is. He's going to see, our Father is going to see whether you are going to rebel in heaven. That's what this is about. This whole thing, I call it tribulation. It's been tribulation for a long time. It's been going on for a couple thousand years. And what they're doing is they're testing each and every one of us. That's what they're doing. To see whether you're going to rebel. If you're going to be a rebellion problem in heaven. What's the best way to figure that out? Is to be born and have no actual evidence, scientific evidence, that he exists. Okay? How much faith are you going to have? How much belief are you going to have? With no evidence whatsoever. There's no way you can prove that his existence. In your heart, you know I'm right. You know exactly what I'm saying. Everyone here is under a test. You're being tested on a daily basis. Daily. Everything you do and everything you say is being watched, and it's being recorded by 2/3 of the angels. The demons are all done. That's it. It's over for them. There's no more for them. There's no reprieve. They will be in hell and here, and when their final judgment comes, it's over for them. They're not. They're done. Rules were a little different for angels than they were for us because he chose us. You have the God, that the one and true and only God that has created everything that you see, and he chose you out of all the species that he has chosen, or all the species that are in existence. Let's put it that way. He chose you. You know who told me that? Yeshua told me that. He said at the time, James, you wouldn't believe this. Okay. Um, he he chose us. He chose us to inherit everything. Really, I said he said everything, the whole universe. At the time, he was calling me Keith, so just let you know that's how we started out. Keith, this is da da da. A new identity with him, and it's that old man is done. The old name is gone. That man is dead. Just to let everybody know. So he chose us. Now, if you choose not to embrace that, that's up to you. If you think that there's anything on this earth that's any better than that, rock and roll, go get it. You go for it. And people are going to look at like Trump. Okay, yes, Trump is doing good things, but he's not doing right things. For instance, I'll tell you a small story just to explain that. You go off to the store You tell your son, son, I need you to wash the dishes. I just need them done before when I get back. Okay. We just need that. Your mom's coming in later and she's going to need those dishes washed so she can start making meals and we can all start setting the table and everything else. All right, Dad, I'll do that. You come back and all the dishes are still there. And there's your son smiling like he's done something great. Because when you see the floor is spit shine and it's shiny. You can even see yourself in it. So you look at him and you have to, what do you do? I didn't tell you to wash the floor. I needed you to wash the dishes. So you did good. And man, you really did good. It was awesome. And that floor is spit shine. I got to agree. But you didn't do what I told you. So therefore, you didn't do the right thing. So what you did was wrong. That's the difference between right and good. Did a great job. Did a good thing. Thank you. Appreciate that. But you didn't do the dishes. So I can't pay you. I can't help you. I can't do anything. All I can do is be disappointed and tell you to go wash the dishes. And hopefully this time you listen to what I'm telling you. This is the same way with our Father in heaven. And this is pretty much the premise of the whole book, Dark Light. And this is a lot of what I've been learning. You could sit there all day long. Well, I was healing people in your name. I did all these great things in your name. He said, those were good things, but you didn't do the right thing. You didn't do what he told you. Okay. So if he didn't do what you told, if you're not doing what he told you, that's going to cause you to perish in hell. You're going to be in a huge surprise when you get there. He told you to seek the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. He told you to strive to enter into through the straight gate and go down the narrow way. That's what he told you to do. That's the right thing to do. He did not say you'll make it to the heaven if you get to if you just feed all these people. I'm not saying don't feed people. I'm just saying that's not what's going to get you there. You have to do both of those things. So you say you look at Trump, right? Trump is not leading people to listen to what our Father in heaven said, what the command was, what Yeshua said to do. Nobody freaking listens. Go strive to go through the straight gate and go down the narrow way. Seek the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. Love your neighbor as yourself. You cannot do any of those things without going through the straight gate and narrow way. So he can give you a heart that will love your neighbor as yourself and love the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. Which means if you're going to love the Father with all your heart, mind, and being, you're going to have to love the Son also. But if you can't do that, you don't have the ability to do that, you have to go seek the man that can give you that ability to fulfill those commands. So he's looking for people that would seek him because guess what? He's not on that what you call the cross or the stake anymore. He's alive. He was in that tomb and he got out of that tomb and he walked around and he ascended into heaven. He is findable, but you can't find him in the flesh. You got to find him in the spirit. And that's where your faith comes in. So if you don't want to live in a very fiery place, which I understand perfectly that the demons stink horribly, Like they never take a shower. They smell worse than death, putrid crap, burning flesh. Okay? I don't know how they handle themselves. Unless you want to spend your eternity in that, I would highly suggest that you do exactly what was told to you to do. Don't spit shine that floor. Wash those dishes. Do what you were told to do. And it's very specific. And that discipline is what you learn on the narrow way. Do what the man said. So the test is, are you going to find his son? Would you die for him? And are you going to do what he tells you to do? Are you going to obey his son? You obey his son, you're obeying him. Simple as that. Very technical, very specific. That's that narrow way. So what are you going to do? Just go pray and just kind of, whatever. Or are you going to be enthralled in all the things that are around you, pulling you in this direction and that direction? Are you going to sit on social media and say, you know what, I'm going to sit over here and watch everybody and everything that they do? I'm going to vicariously live through their life. No, that's what he didn't tell you. If I could not find the scripture that said, let's go on social media and vicariously live through other people's lives. I haven't seen that one. He said, seek the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. Love the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go through the straight gate and walk the narrow way to seek salvation. Don't go where everybody else is going. Don't just sit there on the sideline. You see a guy going, hey, where are you going? Oh, this way. It's where everybody else is going. Oh, awesome. I'll follow you. That's cool. And that's your testimony. That's my testimony. These are the things I've been learning about my brother. He's my brother. He's my father. He's my my sister, my friend. Um, we went through the marriage ceremony together, which was um, a bringing together of the new covenant between each other under the new covenant, obviously purified by his blood and officiated and secured by our Father in heaven. It doesn't get any better. And when you get to know him, I want you to get to know him. That is in my heart. I want you to get to know him. You will never forget it. And you know why? Because it benefits him. He has all the work he did, all the suffering he did, he went through for you. Think about that. Wouldn't you want that for your brother and your best friend? Ever since I turned to him, he's had my back. I mean, has had my back. He has completely changed my life. I don't even recognize the guy before. Don't even know who he is. I don't remember the guy on T-Row. I don't remember talking to half those people. I don't remember a lot of those things. All those things were removed from me from a very long time ago. It's just that's it. So if I offended you, I will apologize. If Keith offended you, hey, he's dead. So he paid for it. So you got your revenge. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to diminish whatever pain he caused. I just don't remember the stuff anymore. All that was removed. In my opinion, that guy was an asshole. So sorry that he was. I'm completely a completely new guy. It's unbelievable. I don't have any of the thoughts I used to years ago. I don't have any of that stuff. All the craziness that used to go through your head, before you turn to Yeshua. So it does. I'm like living proof, a fact that all of it does change. I know everybody knows that I'm not hitting the Human Rights Tribunal a whole lot anymore. I consider this body a reigned citizen directly under Yeshua, as professed and declared and all that. There, it was already been done. It's already been published. So anybody that wants to come at me and try to get me to worship your Columbia, the little bitch you have as your little goddess there, that I rebuke that in the name of Yeshua. I'm not following that. So uh, I you know I think it's entertaining to watch men who are so-called Masons write your little statutes and everything up in your little towers. And I know you go up to you go to the highest floor, and you write your statutes there because it's your little symbolism in your ceremonies, and you're writing them under Columbia, a goddess that's fake. That's nothing more than a lie, and it's a delusion. And I know it's a delusion because I know who the real is. And he's told me many times, I know you, saying to me, I know you, to reassure me that I would never hear that from his mouth. Because why? Because that's how good of a friend he is. That's what a good brother does. So if I stick with these rules, love the Father with all your heart, mind, and being, love the neighbor as yourself, seek him with all your heart, I've already fulfilled all the laws and according to what Yeshua said. Strive to do all those things. So I don't need Columbia statutes. Now, I'm going to give you this, okay? When you're dealing with wicked people, yeah, you do need those. But that's actually coming from our Father in heaven. He puts you under a delusion to follow this Columbia thing that you want to call a god or goddess and to set up all your stuff. He set all that up because you were tested and you were found to be unequipped and to not try to get out of the situation you're in and do exactly what he told you to do. So you will spend your days in that delusion until one day you wake up and say, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm actually reaching salvation here. There was one man that, there was another man that exposed that. And then Yeshua's King Ministries exposed it. And T Row Show exposed it. And still haven't heard anything from Alex or Candace or any of them. But it is what it is. They will remain under that delusion until they decide they want to wake up and do what he tells them to do. You have until your last breath. I believe Yeshua died for my sins. I believe that he paid the price. I believe that he bought me from our Father. Matter of fact, I remember when I was transferred over that the Father signed me over to escape his wrath, for me to escape his wrath. I love the Father with all my heart, mind, and being. I've been going down the narrow way for the last 6 years, and I know the narrow way to be absolutely true. How do I know it's true? It's because when I'm in lessons on the narrow way, I learn things that I've never known before. I see things about myself I've never seen before. I know one thing, whether somebody believes me or they don't believe me, it is not required either way. It doesn't reach or go into my testimony. I love Yeshua like a brother. I have praised the Father in front of the Father. They have given me eternal gratitude. They have bestowed many, many things upon me, their hearts and their minds. And I cannot, I can only profess his name, Yeshua, publicly in hopes that he will profess my name before the Father. I have died for him. All these things have been fulfilled. I've been working on it for a long time, about as hard as I was working on trying to rebuild the country. But people chose to go Trump way. So whatever they want to do, he's not going to get you salvation. That's the sad part. I'm sure the man means right. I'm sure he means well, but he's not going to get you salvation. Sad to hear. I'm going to reserve the right to add to this testimony in the future, in sermons and things like that. Whatever comes up in a sermon, I will possibly bring up my own personal experiences, and that will be I reserve the right to add to that's to that or to this testimony. Otherwise, the future um, uh, recordings will be towards um, the sermon, but any part of that sermon that I share of my own personal experience will be a part of my testimony. So thank you for listening. You sitting down and just listening to this. Um, I'm not going to swear to you, but I'm going to affirm that everything I'm saying is true. And I do have witnesses that have either been there and witnessed it themselves as to what's happened. So thank you for listening to the Yeshua's King Ministries third testimony video, and then next week we're going to talk about something. I'm gonna go into the book and start sharing with you when certain things happened in Dark Light that talks about the Bible or biblical areas and things like that. That actually that all starts coming true. I went through it myself, so just wanted to share that with you. I think it'd be interesting because I know that not a lot of people or not a lot of preachers or pastors or priests, because in our ministry, we're considered priests, the men are. I know that sounds weird because of the Catholic Church, but just because they hijack something doesn't mean that it's exclusively theirs. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.